Good morning. My name is FRANCESFOX. I am your favorite psychic spy. I was in a secret program for mind expansion and seeking human potential, and ultimately ending up with magic. I'm going to be giving you today a healing and also some news from the other dimensions that you need in order to keep yourself safe and prosperous in the next couple of months. Let's start with the healing. Please take your consciousness and your awareness to the back of your heart chakra, which is where you would have a bra strap. Breathe. There's a knot there of mind strings, and I am starting to unravel them. It's better than yesterday. Not as good as several days ago, but we have an astrological configuration. I'm so sorry, but we have some gardening going on. That's minor compared to what's going on in the other dimension, so I'm not going to let that stop me. So, take your consciousness to the back of your heart chakra. I'm clearing it, opening it up. It's interesting. It's forming a channel, and out of the channel is coming the color lime green, which is really good. Continue to breathe in there and see the deep breath I'm taking. It means that this healing is working. Have both your feet on the floor flat, so you're channeling female energy of wisdom, male energy of power, regardless of what your sex is. That way you're balanced. And now I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to teach you a technique that is going to make your life very much better for the next 2 months. You know the images of the apocalypse with all the red and the killings and the violence, and everything is red and red and red and the devil. Okay, that's what we're into. Humans have four elements that need to be balanced for them to be healthy. That's a basis for every medicine except modern medicine. We have an excess of the element of fire. It's called global warming on a planetary level. On a human level, it's called anxiety, or looks like anxiety, insomnia, restlessness, hyperactivity, irritation, frustration, anger, emotional violence, and physical violence. You cannot have any of those things if you do not have an excess of the fire element. It's that simple. Shamanism, which is what I'm teaching you, is that simple. Ask any doctor who does the type of medicine other than modern medicine, and they will tell you that that is accurate. We have excess fire, global warming. We have excess fire, violence. We have excess fire, insomnia, nobody's sleeping. We have excess fire, frustrations, emotional violence. We channel fire in our left leg, which is helpful friends in feng shui. We all know how we're doing in terms of friendships. Very low. You can correct your excess of fire because you live on this planet. You don't choose it, it's your environment at this point, plus all the radiating devices based on wireless and 5G emit fire, and we live in a sea of many waves of that from every different apparatus you have around you or in your neighborhood. Okay, cut to the chase. Years ago, I was friends with Dr. Akhilesh Sharma from India, and I had a session with him for my health. And he told me at the end of the session to get a painting or a picture of a beach scene for my living room. And I didn't say a word to him, but I thought, what nerve talking to me about my decoration, because he knew where I lived. He lived with me for a while when he first came to the United States. And he didn't give an explanation. 30 years later, I realized that he was saying, you need water, Francis. And if you get a picture of water, such as a beach scene, you're going to have more water in your environment, and you're going to be less frustrated and less irritated. But he didn't tell me those things. He just said, get yourself a picture of a beach scene. So I'm going to teach you a technique that's going to protect you so much for the next 2 months, and maybe after that also, that you're going to be shocked and wonder why the whole world doesn't know these basic things from shamanism, from Chinese medicine. They don't. But we're not going to dwell on that. The technique is called the glacier technique, and it's from our movement, the Mantrista movement, which means we do mantras. That's all it means. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to pay. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to call yourself a Mantrista. Just do it. When you see someone that's too angry, frustrated, anxious, visualize a glacier on top of their head. Visualization. That's creating reality in other dimensions. Magic, magic, magic. Visualize a glacier on top of their head and then watch them for 1 minute, 2 minutes, and you will see how the anxiety tones down. When you're ready to explode and you want to cut everybody's head off, visualize a glacier on top of your head. A glacier, iceberg on top of your head, and see how everything turns down. If you're at work in your group, everybody's ready to go for each other's throat. Visualize a glacier on top of the entire group. You don't even have to do a mantra. Just the visualization is adding the element of water to the excess fire. How do I know there's fire? Because they're all ready to cut each other's heads off. And you can't do that with that excess fire. You can't kill anybody unless you have an excess fire. You can't. You can't be like this unless you have excess fire. You can't be frustrated unless you have excess fire. What? Just frustration. You're frustrated. Well, what's going on? You're frustrated. Well, you're not getting what you want, but you can't get it. Something is stopping you from using your fire, your vitality to go get it. Got it? So it turns out we're in an astrological configuration where we're going to be getting a lot of fire for the next 2 months. The sun that used to be our father, but has been deeply invaded. Even science is saying that the sun has had some very unusual internal explosions, is sending us so much fire that they're predicting another Covington event, which was when 100 years ago, the sun threw us a solar flare and it knocked out telegraphs, etc. Well, today it will knock out everything, not the electric grid, the whole Wi-Fi, everything. That's how much the sun is doing to us, and looks like it's going to be continuing to do it at an even higher level. Solar flares. Sign up for spaceweather.com. It's kind of interesting. So you have to reduce fire for you to be able to survive the next 2 months. You have to reduce the fire to survive the next 2 months. Your bank account, your house, your relationships, your love for your children and your loved one gets wiped out with an excess fire. Everybody thinks you don't love them when you're so angry. Oh, yeah, but I do. Well, we can't see that. It gets burned out. Earth also puts out fire. So you could spend a lot of, if you go on vacation, go to the mountains or go to the beach, the water. Don't go to places where there's a lot of radiation, there's a lot of light, a lot of modern stuff, because you're just augmenting your fire. But if you go there, use the glacier technique. Please teach it to your children. Even if they're little, you can say to them, listen, the next time I get so angry, visualize I got an iceberg on top of my head. Teach the kid to help you. If your house, everybody's irritated and don't even want to talk to each other, visualize a glacier on top of the house. And then be a scientist. Pay attention for 1 minute, 3 minutes, and see how people cool down. And then they change. And by the way, when that happens, the love is able to flourish. The goodwill is able to flourish. The friendships can be maintained and strengthened when the excess fire goes away. It's actually not going away. It's reducing it because it's out of balance, because there's too much fire for many different reasons, not just computers and Wi-Fi's and 5G. But we don't have to figure out where it's coming from. All we have to do is reduce it so that it's more in balance with the element of earth and water and air. The glacier technique, please teach it to everybody. It will make a huge difference. So that's your news from other dimensions. Astrological, there's going to be a lot more fire for the next 2 months. Space weather, Father Sun is predicted to be sending us even more than it has sent. And news from other dimensions. This is what the apocalypse is all about. If you remember the images, it's all about too much red, which is the color of fire in the other dimensions. Let's go back to your heart chakra. Take your breath there. And the mantra for that, which I think you'll have to do a lot for the next 2 months, because you're not going to be able to put out everybody's fire. You're going to pick up the news and it's going to be like, oh my God. By the way, you can put a glacier on top of Ukraine, on top of Putin's head, on top of Washington, D.C. We, as a group, reduced the fire during the impeachment of Trump. We didn't try to change anybody's mind, but there was too much fire underneath where the impeachment was. And we reduced it. And the following Monday, we did it on a weekend. On the following Monday, the head of the impeachment fell asleep during the hearings. And the week previous, he had been with a baseball bat in his hand. He was so angry. Monday, he fell asleep because we reduced the fire. You can't sleep, too much fire. Very long healing today because I added the news from the other dimensions. You need to let me know, please, underneath in comments, what you like, what you don't like. I don't think I will be doing it this long every day, but it's very important that you become and stay master of your destiny. And you cannot stay master of your destiny if you're too frustrated, you're too angry, you're not sleeping well, and you want to cut everybody's head off. I'm Frances Fox, your favorite psychic spy.